As much as I think tools have really emerged to streamline the process of exposing your stuff to fans, connecting with them, monetizing them, at the end of the day, we're all as creators in the art business. And so it's about giving people art that they care about, that they care to talk about. I think if one thing has changed with the internet, it's in fact that as artists, most of us, whether we've made it through the various gatekeepers or not, have a certain degree of less power with the consumer. Because we can't just convince someone to put it on the radio or convince MTV to put it on and shove it down people's throats. It's a much more democratic process. And I saw it really for the first time in a big way yesterday when we put out our first new single. And it's a controversial song called Black Girls with a comparably controversial video. And we put it out in the morning at like 9 a.m., premiered it on a couple websites, and within 3 hours it was like far more popular than anything I had ever anticipated. And I think the reason for it was just that it gave people something that they wanted to share because it said something about them to take ownership of that piece of music. And in this day and age, it's more than ever about giving people some work that they themselves can feel something special about, that they feel when they share it says something about them. If you give people something that they have a reason to spread, then they will.
I don't really think about it as work. And I don't really think about this community as fans. I actually hate the word fan. It comes from fanatic. And although we do have some fanatical fans out there, trust me, I think that devalues what's really happening. And to some people it may sound a little corny to think of this in terms of family, but we really do have a deep and meaningful conversation with this incredible community around the world. It's really immersive, it's really inspiring, it's really creative, and I think it goes back to the very beginning. Really, our band broke because of Napster. It started then, which really is just a social platform, right, where people shared music. So we were social from the very beginning, and we always had this open-ended conversation. At the time, people called it this a culty type, they thought it was a cult of following that we had, but we really just had interested, passionate, committed people around the world that were interested in each other. And what we found is that it's gone much further than 30 Seconds to Mars now. Really, people it's fostered great friendships, meaningful relationships around the world. And I'm interested in that. I'm inspired by that. I learn from that, whether it's making records or doing 2,000 different album covers for our last record. We did Faces of Mars, and we put our family of fans around the world on the cover of our album. We've invited tens of thousands of people to sing on our record around the world last time. We're always looking at ways to have a deeper and more meaningful conversation.
Mm-hmm. I think it really comes back to what these guys are saying. I mean, you have to have something that connects with people for a starting point. Because if you don't have that, there's no software out there that's going to do anything for you. And as DA is saying, it is a more democratic process. And I think what you're trying to do is you're really just trying to optimize and kind of maximize the opportunity that happens when you have something like DA had yesterday with a video that goes crazy. The worst case scenario is that you have something unexpected like that happen and you're not ready to connect with those people and you don't build the family that Jared is talking about as a result. Because the fact of the matter is that we all have more choice than ever in terms of what we consume. Everybody's busy and has a lot of things in front of them. But the single biggest innovation for artists is that you can actually build a direct connection between an artist and a fan today where you couldn't in that same way, prior to the internet, really. I mean, unless it was through snail mail fan clubs and that sort of thing. But the ability to really simply like something, follow something, give an email address, give a mobile number, etc., is really powerful because it builds a direct connection between the artist and the listener. I'm gonna try not to say fan, where you can, so that you can build that type. You can actually do the kinds of things that Jared's done with 30 Seconds to Mars, where he's actually brought the it's hard. The fans into the into the process. And so I think, the way that we look at it is you're building this like, you're starting by just building this baseline. The first thing that you want to build with something like Topspin, and there are other tools out there, is if people are interested, don't lose them. Right? Just capture that interest. Step two is once you have that and you're actually kind of direct marketing to those people, once you start doing commerce with them, start vending, as Jeff Jampel would say, you want to maximize that as well. I mean, we all need money, and if you're selling someone a 99-cent download when you could be, and you're doing it on an iTunes where, put it this way, simply, if you're selling someone a 99-cent download who would have happily bought a t-shirt, you just fucked up twice. Because A, you made 70 cents when you could have made $17. And B, you just gave that customer data to an iTunes or an Amazon or a whomever when you could have that relationship with the customer. So you want to just build those two layers. One is, hey, let me be sure I'm here to catch the interest, and the other is let me maximize that opportunity so the person who wants the track for free can get it, and the person who wants to buy the $200 Incubus box set that they released yesterday can get that too, right? Those are very different kinds of fans. And once you set those two things up, everything else is distribution. Right? If you have a huge success on YouTube, or you get best new music on Pitchfork, or people love what you do on Spotify, and you can connect those worlds together. Everything is just distribution from that point. So I think it's about, you set those things up, but you have to have something that people give a shit about first, and then you need distribution on top of it.
Yeah.
I think with Kickstarter, whether you're an established artist or you're just somebody who's starting out, who has shared their demos with their friends and with their family, it presents such a great opportunity to connect with these people. As an established artist, you want to have that relationship with your audience. And through Kickstarter, they really feel a connection to you because you're speaking to them directly. You're providing them with something that they can't get at a retail store. If you're just starting out, it's something where you're beginning to build that fan base, that audience through telling a story. And ultimately, Kickstarter is just that. It's an opportunity to tell a story to your audience, whoever that may be. You start out with a video. And you sort of describe the project that you're looking to complete. And then through rewards, which are the things that people get in exchange for backing that project, you're really getting something tangible in return. So you're brought into that process, whether it's getting a copy of the CD, whether it's getting to sing backing tracks or be a face on the cover of the record, as you guys have done. It really just, it's more than just liking something on Facebook. It's more than just retweeting something. It's really a relationship that grows. And some of the most successful projects that we've seen on Kickstarter, music or film or video games, do just that. They really bring the fan into the process.
Mm-hmm. When we were talking backstage, you said that music is the second largest category of projects on Kickstarter, and film is the number one. Is there something that musicians could learn from some of the other categories, some of the other artists, like film or one of these other categories that they could apply to a music Kickstarter program that they might not have thought of?
Well, that's in terms of funding. So Kickstarter's been around for about 3 years, and in those 3 years we've seen $185 million that's been pledged to people like you and me. And that's funded 20,000 successful projects on Kickstarter. Film happens to be number one in terms of actual money pledged, so that's $58 million. And music it follows closely behind with $38 million, but actually it's seen more successful projects. So I think that musicians know how to market to their fans. They know how to speak to them, and in a way that maybe other categories don't. I think that it's just about recording music isn't as expensive necessarily as making a film. So I think there's a little bit of a disparity there. But we see amazing things happening across all categories on Kickstarter. I think that musicians in particular have a great opportunity to draw people into the process by sending updates, sharing their music, and you record a song the night before, you post a YouTube video about it, you share it with your fans on Kickstarter. And they, in turn, share that with their audience. So that's not necessarily the same as other categories. Music presents a really unique opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm. Is there an ideal time for an artist to possibly use Kickstarter? You know,
Whenever you have a project, you can use Kickstarter. I think that it's what differentiates Kickstarter than from other sort of distribution platforms is that it's an all or nothing method, and it's limited to a specific amount of time. So if you want to make an EP, you want to go on tour, Kickstarter is a great way to do that. It's not something that's necessarily meant for open-ended funding. Like I just want to learn how to play the guitar. Can I have $1,000 to do that? It really has to be tied to something specific.
right.